twilight lies gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets ran fast, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land unafraid, and the home of the brave. Because we are the brave. Yes, we are the brave. We'll fight to invade the name of the brave. We are the US of A. For those unaware, that flag is still there. It's our future to save. This land of the brave, the US of A. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land unafraid, and the
Although going through a few changes since it opened in 1960, Atlanta Motor Speedway has been one of the fastest speedways on the NASCAR calendar. Today is no different as the newest crop of Domino's TYJ racing drivers take to this 1.5-mile home of Southern Speed in an attempt to make the field for the 2017 season. Hello sim racing fans and welcome high atop the speedway for the start of the Marcus Potts Racing 120 here on the All Pro Broadcasting Network. Here to bring you tonight's race is I'm Gabriel Wood, alongside me Curtis Young and Michael D'Amico, pushing the buttons and getting the picture you see to you tonight. Curtis, it's 80 laps tonight with an average speed of about 170 miles an hour. It's going to be fun, it's going to be fast, but oh, it is going to be wild.
Yeah, 80 laps is a fairly short race compared to what we normally run in Domino's. I doubt they could make it on one fuel stop because I think it's going to be about a 30 to 37 lap fuel window. But nonetheless, it should be a pretty good race. We got a lot of good drivers in here, a lot of familiar drivers, a lot of new drivers, and yeah, like you said, it'll be fun and it'll be fast.
A little bit of a speed difference from last week at Talladega Super Speedway for the second of the 4 qualifying races we have here in the month of December. We had some very wild racing, and looks like we got a couple cars out here for qualifying, including the number 003 of Kyle Charpentier. Looks like he's going to take a spin on the front straightaway, that 003 machine. But he ran very well, along with a lot of drivers, including, I believe, that number 19, driven by Curtis Young. And Curtis, you did very well, but now you're sacrificing that position to hop up in the booth. But you're securely in this field for the 2017 season, I believe, because you were the Truck Series champion. How does it feel to be in, and what are you seeing from these drivers so far?
It's been pretty good overall. I raced in the one last week. I watched the one the week before, and I've seen some pretty good stuff. A lot of good new drivers joining the league and trying out. Yeah, it's good to be locked in. I guess I don't have to race this race at all. I can just sit up here and enjoy it from the booth.
Now, of course, as I said, tonight is the Marcus Potts Racing 120, 80 laps from here at Atlanta, as we've said. One of the drivers in the field driving that number 2 machine is Marcus Potts from Yadkinville, North Carolina. He's attempting to go from the sim racing world to asphalt with the Lee Falk Racing team for the 2017 season in the late models. Marcus, he's trying to attempt in his number 2 late model, and he would very much appreciate any sponsorship help to make his dream become a reality. For any questions about Marcus and his endeavors, or to discuss sponsorship, contact him at mpotts2212@gmail.com. That is MPOTTS2212@gmail.com. Marcus Potts Racing, chasing the dream one lap at a time. Looks like Marcus Potts is not on the speedway yet, but Jason Jacoby is. He had a very good race at Talladega, ended up getting caught in a wreck. He was out front early. You know, Curtis, you raced with him last week. What'd you see from that number 1 machine?
Well, all I could really imagine when I was racing with him was me and my wooden rig and him and his full-on race car rig. But no, Jason Jacoby is a pretty good driver, and his I rating's pretty high up there. And he just looks like he just grabbed the pole. So I expect him to have a strong race tonight. And Judd Danielson looks like he just grabbed 3rd place too. I was waiting to see when he would qualify.
"27 cars so far have qualified. Final car that has qualified, Kyle Charpentier, he was that 27 position with a 33.106. He was the one who took that wild ride in the grass there during his qualifying lap. I was actually able to get a time in. But it looks like we got a pretty good field here. It looks like Philip Meyer also in that number 27. He's very far back in the field. And Curtis, you raced with him all last year in Cup and Trucks. That's a little bit of an odd position for that number 27 machine to be.
Yeah, Philip Meyer, sometimes he doesn't qualify the best, but usually he finds a way to get up through the field. And he's a dangerous driver when he's up front. He's a hard guy to pass. And yeah, definitely a good weekly Domino's driver last year.
Now, we're going to mention this a few times tonight, with this being the Domino's TYJ Series. We have a few prizes to give away, including a free pizza courtesy of Domino's. You pick the winner of tonight's race. You make an educated guess by halfway of tonight's race. That is lap 40. That is the cutoff. If you comment below on the YouTube channel in the live chat, you need to put it in as I pick insert driver to win. So you could say, I pick Curtis Young to win, or I pick the number 19 to win. You comment that below, or you text our number at 919-883-7497. We will post that number a couple times during tonight's broadcast before halfway. Get your picks in. Now, of course, you're going to want to watch those drivers tonight before halfway to see who is the class of the field. And it looks like Jason Jacoby is going to be number one on top of the timesheets, and he has locked it in for pole. Here it is, your Domino's starting grid for the Marcus Potts Racing 120. The number one at Jason Jacoby takes the pole with a 27.239. He's going to grab the pole. Outside of him, the 08 of Michael Jeans with a 27.251. Judd Danielson on the inside second row. Josh Bonwell in the number 56 will start in fourth. Ellery Queen in the 62 will start in fifth. William E. Moore, third row outside in the sixth position in that number 11 machine. Justin Gabehart in the number 7 spot. Caleb Eisenhower in the number 8 spot. Daniel Medina in the 9th spot. And rounding out your top 10 is Kyle Weatherman in the number 31.
In the 11th spot, we got the 43 of Vernon Meyerham. In 12th spot, we got the 33 of Ryan McGork. 13th spot goes to the 28 of Dennis Sather. Rolling off in 14th spot is the 51 of Dustin Lee. 15th spot goes to the 12 of William Roberts Jr. Rolling off in 16th is the 66 of Joe Owen. 17th is the 59 of David White. 18th goes to a familiar Domino's driver, the 23 of Mark Fravert. 19th goes to a good buddy of mine, the 14 car of Gary Weston, and rounding out the top 20 is the 36 of William Davis.
21st position is going to be the number 20 machine of Eric Hawk, the 006 Verlis Felkins in the number 22 spot, just outside the top 20. The number 101 at David Gainforth in the 23rd spot. Race sponsor for tonight, the 2 of Marcus Potts will start in that number 24 spot. 25th is going to be Justin Anderson in that number 16. Richard Dix in the 21 car will start in 26. 27 is going to be Wesley Whitefeld in the number 27 spot. Derek Fisher in the lucky number 13 is going to start in 28th as the field starts to roll. Philip Meyer in 29th. 30th is Kyle Charpentier. J.R. Smith in 31st. Ryan Hill in 32nd. Ray Rittenauer II in that 33rd spot. Jeff Tirdo in the 34th spot. Cameron Wright in 35th. Rounding out your field, Michael Atkins Jr., Paul Madison, Michael Bortle, Curtis Young, and of course is in our booth. Jack Watts, Tyler Chalk, Michael Fravor, and starting shotgun on the field in 43rd position is going to be the number 40 of Scott Parsons. Now, Curtis, I got to ask before we go green, final thoughts. You practice with these guys. What are we going to see throughout the race?
I think we're going to see the outside line really come into play early on in the race, and then maybe later on the bottom might be more useful when these guys have been running the top most of the race, because when you're running side by side, I don't think it's going to be hard to pass on the bottom, I'll say that.
Remember to get your picks in before halfway to win a free pizza courtesy of Domino's. Remember to pick or to type I pick insert driver to win, or text 919-883-7497 to win that free pizza. Elizabeth Gregory won from Atlanta and ordered a large cheese pizza for her family, so she took advantage of that giveaway. Let's see if these drivers can take advantage of a good start. The number 1 of Jason Jacoby is going to take off from the green flag, gets a decent start as they come across the finish line for lap number 1. Let's see what's going to happen as they dive it into turn number 1. The number 85 of Judd Danielson there on the inside. He's going to lose a little bit of track position. He's going to slot down into third. The number 08 drops to the bottom side of the racetrack off of turn 2.
Yeah, and already it looks like the outside line is the place to be. These guys, oh yeah, through the corner, these guys are pulling like crazy on the outside. And we got a caution.
Caution is out on the racetrack. Looks like the number 27 machine getting up into the wall. We're going to get the replay for you in just a moment. It's that number 27 of Philip Meyer. Just talked about him before the green. Did not get a good qualifying start as usual, but he was working his way up through the field and ended up tagging the number 13 of Derek Fisher and putting him up into the outside catch fence. Looks like we had one more car getting involved. That's the 003 of Kyle Charpentier. He finished well last week at Talladega, but he's going to be caught up in a lap 1 incident. I believe these drivers do. They have one fast repair, so the race is not over with just yet. But these drivers are going to have to climb uphill to get out front again. Drivers catching the pace car. It's like Jason Jacoby. He will lead the first 2 laps here, and they're both going to be behind the pace car. And it looks like we got a couple of cars, or one car, coming into the pits off of turn number 4. A little bit too early to pit, but were tires kind of any factor during practice? Did you run any kind of long runs?
I think the longest run I did was probably 8 to 10 laps, and yeah, Atlanta is a track where the tires do fall off quite a bit. This setup is bad fast with this weather, so I think you're going to see these guys still going pretty fast for the majority of the run, but we'll see who knows how to save their tires and who doesn't.
Rest of the field catching the pace car. We're going to give you a rundown, see if anything changed. Your top 4 remains unchanged from qualifying, but starting 6, he's up in now to the top 5 is William E. Moore in that number 11 machine. He's going to move up a few positions. I believe this is his first race. Curtis, have you seen him? I did not see him last week at Talladega. Is this his first race in Domino's?
Yeah, I don't recall his name, so this could be his first race. But I have a hard time remembering people when I only drive with them once, so you never know.
A few of these drivers, you will see them in the 2017 season. Remember, this is an open hosted session for drivers who are interested in becoming Domino's TYJ Top Shelf Series drivers. I believe this is for the Top Shelf Series, Curtis. Am I correct?
I believe this is just a general qualifying for like all the leagues, but
okay.
Yeah, they're just using the Cup car because I guess that's the best choice to judge people in overall, I suppose.
Crossing the line onto lap number 4. Look behind him, the number 62, Ellery Queen. This is kind of a good mixture, Curtis, because you have drivers like Ellery Queen, Judd Danielson, drivers who drove the entire series in the inaugural Domino's series last year in 2016, or this year in 2016, I should say. And then you've got drivers, they're known around the sim like Jason Jacoby and a few others. And then you have the relatively unknown drivers that have joined in, and they're putting on a show, like William E. Moore coming in. He's qualified 6th, running up in the top 5. So this is really what I like about these qualifying races. You really have no idea who's fast and who isn't.
Yeah, that's exactly right, and you usually get good racing throughout the entire field just because of that mix that you have of veteran drivers, new drivers, and guys that are just known around the sim, and guys that have ran leagues before, but they're just new to Domino's.
Hopefully going to get the 1-to-go signal this time by. Lap number 5. This will come into play later. It's a little bit early to talk about this, but we've seen where races will come down to what is supposed to be a green-white checker. We're at the start of lap 5, and it's taken a lap 1 incident to show us that it takes 5 laps to get the track clean, so that'll come into play later. Because we do not have a green-white checker set up, these drivers get down to the end of the race, and we end up having a caution within 5 laps to go. The race is over. So that's basically like getting back to the white flag in the actual NASCAR series. Lined up 2 by 2 for the restart. Run down to your top 5. Jason Jacoby in the number 1 started on pole. He is still up there. As I said, top 4 is unchanged. Michael Jeans in the number 08. Judd Danielson in 3rd. Josh Bonwell and William E. Moore round out your top 5. Ellery Queen, Kyle Weatherman, Ryan McGorrick, Daniel Medina, and Dustin Lee round out your top 10. Ryan McGorrick, he actually started in the 12th position up to 8th, so he's made a good jump in the first real 2 corners. So he had a very, very good start here on lap number 1. We're going to come back to the green flag, though, Curtis. Let's see what's going to happen. The iRacing.com Roof GT3 pace car, the new one that we've just gotten this series. It's going to pull onto pit road for the second time tonight for the first restart. Green flag in the air. Restart number 1. We're underway here on lap number 5. A little bit of stack up there in the back of the pack, but everybody's going to get away clean. A little bit of side-by-side racing there. A couple of drivers, I believe that was Kyle Weatherman, maybe getting a little bit close there. But Jason Jacoby gets out to a good lead. Looks like that number 56 on the outside. He's trying to make that outside lane work, as we said. Josh Bonwell up or he was in the 3rd position momentarily, but now he's going to move back into the 4th spot. Judd Danielson moves into that 3rd spot in that number 85 machine. Didn't see Judd. He had some good runs last.
And there's a wreck. They're spinning on the front. And there might not be a caution.
Caution comes out. A couple of drivers here on lap number 6 get together. So we did get one lap under green. Looks like 2 separate incidences. Drivers not wanting or not slowing down, and looks like one driver, the 006 of Verlis Felkins, actually gets loose on the front straightaway on the tri-oval, and then number 33 also gets into trouble before that. So let's see what happened there on the replay. Looks like Ryan McGorick, just talking about him in the 33, takes a ride through the grass. Actually pushed up the racetrack into the number 62, looking at it on the replay. They were 3 wide there coming off of turn number 4, and he saw the number 98 jump to the bottom below him, and he kind of overreacted and ended up putting it up into the number 62. And he would have got away scot-free if it was not for the 006 getting loose in the tri-oval.
Yeah, and coming out of turn 4 is definitely not where you want to be 3 wide at this place. The front stretch is a very different shape than a lot of other tracks, and it's really easy to get loose, especially in these Cup cars with the power they have. And that's just what happened there.
While we got a moment, I'd like to remind you, with every lap that passes, the chances are getting slimmer and slimmer for you to get in your picks. And may as well be fitting with the Domino's car out front, the number 1 of Jason Jacoby. If you want to pick him to win tonight's race, you either comment in the YouTube comment section below that I pick the number 1 car, or I pick Jason Jacoby to win in the comment section below, or text your pick to 919-883-7497. I just posted it in the comments below. Get your picks in before halfway. At lap number 41, the poll is closed. Remember, if you do pick the correct winner, you will receive a free pizza courtesy of Domino's. Like I said, last week's winner, Elizabeth Gregory, picked the winner at Talladega, and she ended up winning a large cheese pizza for her family. So this is a real giveaway, folks. You can get a pizza of your choice courtesy of Domino's.
Yeah, and just looking down the field here and looking at your biggest movers, the number 31 of Kyle Weatherman, he started in the 10th position. He's all the way up to 6th. 51 of Dustin Lee is up to 9th place. He qualified 14th. And the 36 of William Davis is all the way up to 12th, starting from P20.
Probably going to get the 2 to go signal this time by from the pace car. Maybe even 1 to go, depending on if the lights go out this time by. They do not, as the pace car crosses the imaginary start-finish line, because apparently in this build, iRacing has gotten rid of every single start-finish line in the simulation. Curtis, I don't know if you noticed that or not.
Yeah, they said there will be a hotfix release for that sometime early next week, and it'll fix the issue where people are crashing and their screens are going black.
A little bit of teething troubles you always get with these new releases. You get them every 12 weeks. There's always a little bit of teething trouble there in week number 1. We're just past week number 1 there after the update. So you should expect everything to get a little bit better. We're 1/8 of the way through here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Jason Jacoby in the lead. Hasn't had a chance to get challenged for the lead because we've had cautions off of lap number 1, or after the first lap restarts here, off of both initial starts. Hopefully going to get some green flag racing here. This is to be expected because these drivers, half of them, or maybe even more, have never raced around each other, and they don't know each other's tendencies. They don't know how aggressive they are, and it just causes people to be cautious while others are being aggressive. Curtis, I know you know that feeling because you made it through this qualifying series here last year, and I know there were some moments that you wish you hadn't have made, but you can pretty much understand why they're being made.
Yeah, these guys, they all want to come out and race hard, and yeah, sometimes they just do things that they probably shouldn't have done, but that's okay. That's what racing's about, learning, making mistakes, and going on to the next race.
Lights are out atop the pace car. Everybody going to line up. Double file 2 by 2, 36 cars back. As I say that, 32 cars back, as we have 13 of Derek Fisher. He is 1 lap down. The 006 of Verlis Felkins in 34th. Philip Meyer in the number 27 machine is 2 laps down, and 3 laps down is Ryan McGork. We had a couple of cars not take the start, so our field did not get full, but we still had 36 cars take the green flag, which is very good for a hosted session on behalf of a league. So 36 potential drivers to make it into the Domino's TYJ Series for 2017. The car's round turn number 4, or into turn number 3, into turn number 4. We're going to get the race restarted here on lap number 12. See what's going to happen. If we can get some green flag running in, these drivers are getting the opportunity to clean off their tires. Hadn't really had a chance for rubber to build up on the racetrack. They've been running so slow around these pace laps. Let's see what's going to happen here off the restart. Green flag in the air. Let's see if they bunch him up just a little bit. Oh, we got a little contact with the 62 at Ellery Queen. He did not get going, but we got a challenge from the outside lane. The number 08 of Michael Jeans is on the outside of the racetrack trying to make it work. He's going to lose a little bit of momentum. He's going to have the number 85 of Jed Danielson to the bottom side of the racetrack. 56 and the 31 on the outside of them. That 08 staying on the outside of the racetrack. That Monster Energy orange machine. He's going to try and make it work on the top. Ducks down to the bottom. Now we're going to see if we can get some green flag running here. That number 1's going to lead them back to the line. The 56, we got a mad scrap on the back half of the top 5. The 31 is stuck in the middle of it. That's Kyle Weatherman. He's going to have that number 98 of Daniel Medina on the right behind him. Number 11 of William E. Moore. And we've got another caution. Big wreck in turn number 2. The number 101 of David Gainforth, slow on the racetrack. Looks like, Curtis, that may be what you're talking about.
Yeah, it looks like he just got loose. He just had a little bit too much wheel into it coming out of that quad oval there, and
well, no, it looks like what you were talking about. Drivers blacking out because he just turned left to get off the racetrack, and he never stopped turning left. Maybe he was just trying to get out of everybody's way and could not see.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. It's mostly when you make hard contact that the screen goes black. But yeah, definitely what started that was him just getting a little bit loose in the quad oval there.
A couple more drivers involved. Hopefully they still have their resets. Well, we saw the number 12 take a hard hit along with what seems to be the 22 and the 21. So a couple of cars getting involved here on a lap 12 crash. Curtis, we're going to take this opportunity to take a break here for the All Pro Racing Network. Give ourselves a little bit of time to breathe and a little time to gather some stories up. This has been the Marcus Potts Racing 120 here on the All Pro Racing Network.
You're watching All Pro Broadcasting with
Freedom Train.
Back here live at Atlanta Motor Speedway for the continuation of the Marcus Potts Racing 120. Benefiting Marcus Potts trying to get his racing career off the ground. If you have any questions about sponsorship of the Lee Falk Racing #2 machine for the 2017 season, email him at mpotts2212@gmail.com. Marcus Potts Racing, chasing the dream one lap at a time. Lights are out atop the iRacing.com series pace car. Here on lap number 17 as we get ready to restart this race for the third time. We've had some crashes here in the early going, but hopefully we can get some green flag running as these guys get a little bit more comfortable with the cars. Heading down the back straightaway for the restart. Curtis, what are we going to expect to see here? We're going to see another wreck, or these guys going to get calmed down and try and get some racing in?
I'm hoping they get settled in and we can get a green flag running here. I did take the opportunity to ride on board with a couple of these guys during caution, and the only person I could find that was saving fuel was that '08 car of Michael Jean's. So he might have a little something extra than everybody else does if they do have a long run here, because since nobody has really pitted yet.
Pace car is going to pull to the safety of pit road. The number 1 at Jason Jacoby, that Domino's machine, is going to come to the green flag. Another stack up there, a little bit back in the pack, but he's going to get a good start on that inside lane. Outside lane, trying to get it going. We haven't seen it work on the initial start here tonight, but they haven't had time to get that momentum going on the top side of the racetrack. Top 2 remain unchanged. Here they come off of turn number 2 onto the back straightaway. The number 08, right behind that number 1 at Jason Jacoby. See what's going to happen here. We got some side-by-side racing. The number 31 at Kyle Weatherman on the outside of the 56 of Josh Bonwell. He's going to get the pass completed here as they come to the stripe here to complete lap number 18. The number 98 of Daniel Medina right there behind them. He's running in the top 5 position. The 51 of Dustin Lee. He started 14th, now running in the 7th spot. So good job on him to get up front quickly here during the cautions. Coming around turn number 3. This is the longest green flag run of the night, everybody. Here they come to the start-finish line here to complete lap number 19. Let's see what's going to happen. Number 1 is still your leader. He's pulling out just a little bit, so he might be the person to pick for that Domino's free pizza giveaway. Remember to comment your driver to win below with the phrase, "I pick this driver to win," with the driver's name or number or a combination of both, as we got a car spinning on the back straightaway.
Caution.
Caution is out. Caution is out.
Number 74 takes a hard hit to the inside of the racetrack. He was battling for the outside of the top 15. Ended up cranking that wheel just a little bit too much and nosed it into the inside safer barrier. Comes back up the racetrack. ARCA brakes everywhere on the back straightaway as another car gets involved there midway down the back stretch.
Yeah, and that's just unfortunate for the car that clipped him there. I'm trying to find the number. Looks like the 006 car of Verlin Falcons. He got caught up in that.
Another hard hit for that 006. Marcus, we said it before. It was one of the 2 possibilities. Guys could calm down and get to racing, or they could keep making these mistakes. It looks like we got drivers coming to pit road. The number 08, he's going to be the first, or excuse me, he fooled me on that one. the camera I was watching was a little bit deceiving. It looked like he was going to come to pit road. Curtis, what was the fuel run that you saw after running practice laps?
I didn't run a long enough run to get a good gauge on exactly what they have, but we're running a 75% fuel load here compared to the 18.7 gallons that they normally have. Last year that was around 37 laps at a 1.5 mile speedway, so under caution that changes a lot. These guys haven't really ran very many laps up at full speed. I'm guessing they could probably still go another 25 to 30 laps from where we're at right now. So I think it's definitely a one-stop race from here if we happen to go green. But you never know.
Driver's going to form up on the back straightaway. We still have 26 cars on the lead lap, 27 now. Excuse me, one-on-one of David Gainforth, last car on the lead lap. He is on pit road, still getting repairs from that earlier caution. Going to ride here behind the pace car. Curtis, you told me before the race Atlanta is not really your favorite racetrack. What is it that makes it different from some of the races you run at?
Really, it's the shape of the front stretch. It gives me problems, and it seems like the turn 4 wall likes to jump out at you, especially when the track conditions are like this and the car is wanting to plow up the track and not spin out. Car is really tight today. They're, like I said, they're running with a pretty cold track, 74 degrees. But yeah, the front stretch is the part that I don't really like. Other than that, the track is it's a pretty good one.
Yeah, that's one thing that has to contribute to the factor of some of these cautions with the temperature on the racetrack. Looking at the weather now, track temperature 74 degrees, so a relatively cold racetrack. That's got to contribute to a little bit of this because you lose a lot of grip at an extreme cold temperature on new tires. So that's what we've been seeing here tonight with the drivers not being able to get their tires warmed up after a restart. It's the same thing, I do a lot of road racing. That's what you got to look out for off of the initial start is the first lap, especially the first corner, the tires are like ice. And I've never raced in a session this cold in the Oval Series, but it has to be basically the same deal with the cold tires and absolutely lack of grip, with no heat in the tires.
Yeah, the track overall has a lot more speed in it than it would if the track was, say, 100 degrees, but it does make the cars normally a lot easier to crash, so to say. I mean, it's a lot easier to go fast and plow up into the wall, whereas if you're driving on a hot track, you kind of gotta play with the throttle, and it's just a lot easier to kind of watch what you're doing.
Remember, tonight's race is the Marcus Potts Racing 120 for Marcus Potts in his endeavor to get from the sim to the real world racing with the Leaf Log Racing team for the 2017 season. He's also just notified me, get on his Facebook at Marcus Potts Racing. That is his new racing page. You'll get updates on the 2017 season, anything that happens in the off season for the driver out of Yadkinville, North Carolina. He's chasing a dream one lap at a time, as his slogan says, and it's like he's chasing a few cars here on the racetrack because he is running in the 25th spot in that number 2 machine. He hasn't had the green flag running. He's needed to get back up front. Let's see what's going to happen here off the restart. The number 1, Jason Jacoby, has been out front for every lap here tonight, every lap of the 24-lap event so far. He's going to have that number 08 of Michael Jeans. He's got to get tired of starting on that outside lane, but it's got to get tiring to kind of lose that momentum off the initial start. The driver from Scottsdale, Arizona is going to take the green flag for another restart. He's going to back up the field. Now, we've had our first lead change of the night. The number 08 gets the outside lane. He's going to lead lap number 24. He's going to try and use that momentum on the outside of the racetrack off of turn number 2 to try and get that lead from that number 1 Domino's Toyota of Jason Jacoby. It's not going to happen there. They're going to battle side by side into turn number 3. Let's see what's going to happen. He's going to try and pedal it around. He's going to duck to the bottom side of the racetrack, try and use that run coming off of turn number 4. Here he comes. He's going to duck high. He's going to stay up there. See, he's got a fender. So he is to the outside of that number 1. See what he's going to do. Is he going to try and hold that number 1 machine to the bottom side? He's going to cut it down dime in the corner. Going into turn number 2, he's going to get to his back bumper off the back onto the back straightaway. Curtis, is this a little bit too big of a track to put the bumper to somebody?
Well, the cars do have a lot of grip in them, but you really don't want to be shoving somebody farther in the corner than they want to go this early on in the race. And we got another caution.
Caution is out here on lap number 27. Got a couple of cars heading up into the fence. The car I see is the number 23, but there were a few more cars stacked up there. It looks like the number 56 of Josh Botwell is actually going to get involved. He was running in the 6th position, battling for top 5. Ends up getting into the number 51. and ends up sending him around on the front straightaway. He's going to collect hard hit from the number 003 of Kyle Charpentier. He's going to get a hard hit from the number 14 behind him. Guys not checking up on the front straightaway. A single car incident turns into a multi-car accident.
Yeah, and hard hit for my good buddy Gary Weston there. I hope he knows that there's a faster pair tonight. He was doing good. He was up to 9th spot, qualified in 19th. And yeah, there was a bunch of guys that got a little bit of damage off that. So I think it's going to shuffle up the field, and it might be time to pit for tires now.
Going to see if anybody comes onto pit road this time by. We're going to single up behind the iRacing pace car yet again. Here on lap number 28, we're nearing halfway, so you need to get your picks in before the halfway point in this race to win the free pizza courtesy of Domino's. You're going to want to call or text the number 919-883-7497. We got a couple cars running through the grass trying to fake people out on pit road. We got a few of them coming down. Looks like the number 28, I believe, coming on the pit road. I know the 27 is down there, Philip Meyer. But, yep, Derek Sather in the number 28 machine. He's going to be the first to take new tires on pit road. He's going to pull into his pit box. He judged it just a little bit too early. Ended up having to get back onto the gas there before he got to his pit stall. But as I said again, you're going to want to get your picks in. Either comment below, I pick the driver you want to win. Phrase it like that, I pick certain driver to win. Or text 919-883-7497. And if you guess the driver correctly that could win tonight's race, you will win a free pizza courtesy of Domino's. Drivers working their way up down the back straightaway. A couple of cars choosing not to come on the pit road. Looks like about 10 cars. Jason Jacoby, Michael Jeans, Kyle Weatherman, Daniel Medina, Dustin Lee, and William Davis Jr. among those drivers. Eric Hawk in the number 20, the 74 of Wesley Whitfield. He was the driver that actually that was in the wreck. Excuse me. He's running in the 28th position, 2 laps down, but looks like he's gonna come to pit road this time by. But your top 6 stay out on the racetrack. So Curtis, this is gonna be interesting to see if these guys can hold them off.
Yeah, and I think now's the time when there's a little bit of wear on the tires, and we saw it on that last restart. The 8 was as close as he's ever been to actually taking that lead for a couple laps from Jason Jacoby. So I think these guys at the front are going to be a little bit of sitting ducks now with all these guys with new tires, and yeah, it looks like a couple of those guys that were involved in that wreck did get their faster pairs done. They'll be out towards the back of the tail end of the lead lap cars.
Actually going to see if we can get a hold of that number 1 machine of Jason Jacoby if he is with us. Looks like I don't believe he is in session with us. So going to try and find a mid-race reporter we can get for you here soon to get an insight of what these drivers are feeling here toward the halfway point of this race. Haven't had too much high-speed running here because we've had caution after caution. The drivers not acclimated toward driving against each other. End up making mistakes, and we've seen a cold racetrack also play into that.
Again, looking at your biggest movers, 51 of Dustin Lee is now up to 5th spot from 14th. 36 of William Davis qualified 20th and is up to 6th spot, and the 20 car of Eric Hawk is up to 7th spot, qualified 21st. So good runs for those guys so far. I think Eric just got new tires, so we'll see what he can do.
Got the 1 to green this time by Dustin Lee, driver the number 51. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Looks like you're the biggest mover so far in the field, or at least in the top 10. Top 9, excuse me. I'm looking at Jack Watts, he started in the number 40 position, but still, you and a lot of other drivers have been able to make it up front with the amount of caution we've had. What's your perspective so far?
Just trying to be smooth and just take it easy, and just trying to be patient. Not trying to push the issue right now. Hopefully, get some laps and have a long run going here and see what we can end up with.
All right, we'll see if we talk to you in Victory Lane. A little bit of a longer interview if you make it to Victory Lane here tonight. Come to the green.
10-4. Thank you, guys.
Drivers doubled up behind the iRacing Roof GT3 pace car. Going to duck down to the safety of pit road yet again here on lap number 31. Coming to the green on lap 32. He's going to pull down the Scottsdale, Arizona driver, Jason Jacoby. He's going to come to the green flag. He gets a good restart this time. Not going to allow the 08 by here off the initial start. He's going to dive it down into turn number 1 this time. The 08 does not get to jump to the bottom. Here comes the 31 of Kyle Weatherman. We just talked to him. Dustin Lee going to try and take that third spot from that 08 Monster Energy machine on the outside lane of the racetrack. He's going to slide all the way back to the 4th spot, the 36. William Davis Jr. right behind him. He's going to look to capitalize as the 08 jumps to the bottom side of the racetrack. So your top 4 are going to single out. Jason Jacoby pulling away from the field as the number 31 of Kyle Weatherman. He's getting a chance to stretch his legs here with some relatively clean air behind that leader. He's got a 0.2 of a second lead, looking to grow it. Here's we got a side-by-side battle for that 5th position, or that 4th position, I should say, that 36 of William Davis. He's working his way up the field. He's going to try and get around the number 08 of Michael Jeans.
A little bit further back in the field, the battle for 9th position, the 28 and the 77 have been going at it for the last few laps. Looks like the 28 just pulls ahead there now. We'll see if he can hold it down on the inside.
Jack Watts in the 77 loses that 10th position to the 28 driver, Dennis Sather. Back up front, that lead's growing just a little bit. Jason Jacoby in that number 1 machine, Domino's. He led basically the entire race. We got a 3-wide battle with the number 08 of Michael Jeans. He's going to go over the inside, outside wall. Collects the driver on the inside of the racetrack. Caution is out. Caution is out.
And that looked like netcode to me initially, but I'm going to have to go back and take a look at it here. Hard hit for the 08 of Michael Jeans. He was running a good race up there in 5th place, and yeah, it looks like the 11 was at least a couple feet away from him, and he just got body slammed into the outside wall and collected that 66 car of Joe Owen.
Couple more drivers involved. Looks like Gary Weston in the 14 machine also. Josh Bonwell in the 56, he was working his way back up. Looks like he just got his fast repair. And also a couple more drivers. Michael Atkins Jr., we saw him have a decent race at Talladega. That 18 car looks like it is just about finished. Hopefully he still has his fast repair. He's going to be able to get back on the racetrack. Fans, looking at that number 1 machine, he may be a good car to pick. This is going to be pretty much your last chance to get in your pick. Text 919-883-7497 to pick the driver before halfway to win this race. If you do, you will win a free pizza courtesy of Domino's, or you can comment below and we'll look at it after the race. You need to at least try and phrase it to where we can find it. As I pick insert driver to win, so just put the driver's name or number so we can find it after the race.
Yeah, and first car down pit road there was the 31 of Kyle Weatherman. Jason Jacoby stayed out, and I'm not sure about that decision there, but looks like most of the field coming down here for tires and fuel.
Looks like these drivers, they're going to stick to that plan of staying out on the racetrack. That William Davis machine, that 36, I feel like I kind of want him. I would want to pick him. I've seen legitimately work his way up the field. He's done a very good job.
Yeah, William Davis back there in the 15th spot right now.
See what's going to happen here after the green flag here. We're closing in on halfway here in the Domino's TYJ Racing Series. Marcus Potts 120. Curtis, closing in on halfway. What have you seen so far? I know it's been a lot of caution, but have you seen anything striking your eye?
Well, I think as the restarts go on here, the outside line is coming in a bit more, and opposite of what I said at the beginning of the race, the inside line has been the faster line thus far. And Yeah, these guys just got a new set of Goodyear Eagles on there, so I think the inside line might come back into play now.
Let's see what happens here off the restart. Updated running order as of now. Jason Jacoby in the number 1 machine is your leader. He's pretty much led the entire race. Dustin Lee in the 51. We talked to him under caution a few laps ago. He is running in second. Eric Hawk in the number 20 in third. Dennis Sather, we saw him in the number 28 machine in fourth. Mark Fravert in the 5th position. Kyle Charpentier had a tough race, started 30th, been involved in a few incidents, but he is out front and in that 6th position. Derek Fisher, another driver involved in a few incidents in that number 13 machine in 7th. David White in the 59 car in 8th. 9th right now is Kyle Weatherman. You're getting into the drivers who had just pitted. William Davis in the 36 in 10th. William E. Moore, Jack Watts, Justin Gabehart, Paul Madison, and Justin Anderson round out your top 15.
It looks like we got a good mix of guys out there now that are on older tires versus new tires, so this could be one of the more interesting restarts of the night.
Lights are out atop the iRacing.com first series pace car. It's going to be 1 to go this time by. They're going to come to the green at exactly halfway, so get your picks in. Look back in the broadcast and see what we told you. Comment below who you want to win this race. I'm going to be looking to see who had commented by the time we get around next time by. So lap 41, when we hit that mark, it is going to be the cutoff. So get your picks in now or text 919-883-7497 to get your picks in. Pick the winner of tonight's race, and we'll see if you can win a free pizza courtesy of Domino's. We're going to go into turn number 3 for hopefully the final time the pace car is going to make that trip to pit road. Hopefully he can stay there because we're going to get some green flag running here. Hopefully the number 1 of Jason Jacoby, he's been out front all night looking to keep it that way. That Domino's machine out front, and it's a very easy car to recognize because it is the series sponsor. Also works for Domino's, and he's, like you said in the pre-race, he's got one of the fastest or nicest sim rigs in the game. Looks like he's got one of the faster cars on the racetrack. Green flag in the air yet again here, crossing the number 40 lap mark. So next time by is going to be halfway. Get your picks in for that free pizza. Oh, excuse me. The number 1 of Jason Jacoby is going to take that lead. Dustin Lee is going to move to the bottom side of the racetrack, side by side. Dennis Sather and looks like Kyle Charpentier maybe, or Mark Fravert in the 23 and 5th. He's worked his way up from the 18th spot. He's done a very good job. Behind him, Kyle Charpentier in the 003 is doing a very, very nice job working his way back up front. Here come the cars on new tires. The 36 of William Davis in that 7th spot, trying to take it away from Kyle Charpentier there on the outside lane. This is where you're going to see that outside lane shine because the drivers on old tires are going to be absolutely trained by that number 36 of William Davis. He's going to move high. He's going to move to the bottom side in turn number 3 out of 4. And just like that, he is inside the top 5 after 1 lap.
Looks like most of your field is sorted out there. A little bit of side-by-side battle and back further in the pack, but we may see a green flag run here. Knock on wood.
We may see it. A big lead, biggest of the night we've seen from that number 1 of Jason Jacoby. Remember, picks are locked in, so don't bother commenting anymore as we've got a caution here. We jinxed it as we've got a caution here now. Looks like Daniel Medina is going to be slow there on the bottom side of the racetrack, but I don't think he got sideways at all. Looking at the number of cars involved. Looks like David White in the number 59 machine. He was running 8th. Comes down the racetrack trying to chop block number 13. Ends up getting into the 98 there. And David White in the 59 machine ends up going into the outside wall.
.55 of Justin Gabehart was also collected in that wreck. He had a pretty clean looking car before that, unfortunate for him.
Well, we've got a caution here. We're going to take a break. from the Marcus Potts Racing 120 here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. We're just across the halfway point. Jason Jacoby is your leader, Dustin Lee in second. We'll be right back here on the All Pro Racing Network.
Smithley, driver the number 0, JD Motorsports Chevrolet, and you're watching All Pro Broadcasting.
Back here live at Atlanta Motor Speedway for the Marcus Potts 120, live from the home of Southern Speed, Atlanta Motor Speedway in Hampton, Georgia. The number 1 at Jason Jacoby is going to lead him to the green here yet again on lap number 48. Eric Hawkins is outside in the number 20. They're going to take the green flag. Let's see who's going to get a good restart here off the start. The number 1 jumps to an early lead as they head through the tri-oval into turn number 1. It's going to be a side-by-side battle with the drivers on new tires. The 36 of William Davis Jr. on the bottom side of the racetrack.
Yeah, and they're 2 by 2 by 2 all the way throughout the field. It's like the 20 of Eric Hawk ducks below the 36 of William Davis there.
Oh, looks like we got Mark Fravor gets shoved down the bottom side of the racetrack into the grass by the 20 of Eric Hogg, but he's going to end up recovering and make him pay for it because now that Mark Fravor machine, the 23, is to the inside of Eric Hawk and the number 20, that green car on the outside. Let's see what's going to happen here. He's going to end up pulling away from him. And looky here, we've got a challenge for the lead, it looks like, brewing, because William Davis in that 36 machine is catching Jason Jacoby in that number 1. This is the first time we've seen anybody challenge that number 1 car for the lead all night. See what's going to happen here as they cross the line, or in the turn number 2 after they cross the line on the lap number 50. We got a little bit of battle brewing there back in the pack, but we're going to stay up front because this could get big. William Davis is going to dive it down into turn number 3. Let's see what's going to happen. He's going to have the momentum with him. Can he do it here on lap number 51? He's to the back bumper. He's going to try the outside. He's going to stick his nose out there in the turn number 1. Let's see what's going to happen. That number 1 machine is protecting the outside. Oh, he's going to wash up the racetrack. So old tires are failing, and as soon as he gets to the lead, trouble. The 003 of, looks like, Kyle Charpentier end up causing, or I thought it was going to be a caution there, but he's going to stay to the bottom side of the racetrack. So Kyle Charpentier out of the race, and William Davis is out to lunch there up front. Jason Jacoby led the entire race, and now we've got some green flag running, and he is failing on old tires. He moves down to third. Eric Hawk in the number 20. He's going to move into second, and sailing away, looking out the rearview mirror, is William Davis in the 36. Battle still brewing between Eric Hawk and the 1 of Jason Jacoby. They're side by side, and this is allowing William Davis.
Three
wide for the second position, and the 31 of Kyle Weatherman splits the middle and gets a 2-for-1 special in turn number 2.
And the 11 car of William E. Moore almost got into the back of the 1 there. Jason Jacoby entering turn 3.
Jason Jacoby to the outside in turn number 1. He's going to try and get that position back, but the tires are going to fail him. He moves to the outside, the 11 of William E. Moore to the outside. He's going to shove him up into the fence. It's not going to happen. The 1 of Jason Jacoby. He's going to try. He's going to make the apron work to the inside of the 31 of Kyle Weatherman, but it's not going to happen going into turn number 3. That's going to shove the 20 of Eric Hawk to the outside. And meanwhile, as I said, this is allowing that 36 of William Davis in the lead to get away. He's out by more than 1 second, but here comes William E. Moore in that number 11, his first start in the Domino's TYJ Series, and he is trying to win it. He's up to the second position, started in 6th. William Davis started in 20th, now up to 1st. It's going to be a good race for the drivers who started mid-pack, and the driver who won the pole is slowly sliding back. The decision to not take tires is going to bite him, because he is now closing in on the outside of the top 5. The lead is closing down there as they came to the stripe that time to complete lap number 55. William E. Moore has caught it down to 0.8 of a second to William Davis in the 36. Kyle Weatherman 1.4 seconds back, and Jason Jacoby on the old tires 1.6 seconds back in 4th. The time that time 0.7 of a second, so it's going down by 1/10 a lap here as we close in with 20 to go.
Side-by-side battles on the track. It looks like the 18 of Michael Atkins Jr. gets below Eric Hawk there, and there's contact, the 98 car into the 23. Bear with me, guys. I don't know a lot of these guys, so I don't know their driver names, but I'm trying to figure it out here.
A bit of contact between the drivers involved in the wreck earlier. Out front, that gap is coming down. William Davis Jr. is losing his lead to the William Moore machine in the number 11. He is half a second back and closing, using that outside lane to his advantage. He's caught it down. He's to the back bumper within a car length Here he comes. He's carrying the momentum into turn number 1. To the inside here on lap number 59. Contact.
Nudges him up into the wall.
Doors
William
the 36 of William Davis into the wall in turn number 1. That's going to allow William Moore to the inside and to the lead. And here comes Michael Jeans in the number 08, another car on new tires. Let's see what's going to happen here if that 36 can run him back down.
Yeah, I don't think that's exactly what the 11 wanted to do. He definitely wanted the lead, but unfortunately the 36 of William Davis sustained quite a bit of right front fender damage from that.
20 laps to go this time by. It's side-by-side battle for the second position. Michael Jeans in the 08 to the inside of the driver who pitted at the same time with him with the new tires, but it's not going to pay off with that damage to the front corner of that car. The number 08 of Michael Jeans to the inside moves into second here. 20 laps to go. It's closing in. Longest green flag run of the night. This is the first time we've ever seen these guys get comfortable. It's down to half a second. Here comes that number 08 machine. He's been up front all night. A little update, Jason Jacoby. He's coming off the pit road, so the strategy did not pay off. He was hoping for another caution, but it did not come, so he's going to have to come to pit road. The only way he can win this race now is if we get another caution. The number 11, William E. Moore to the lead. He's getting run down by Michael Jeans in the 08. He pushed high there off of turn number 4 last time by, and he's allowed that Michael Jeans machine to catch him.
Oh, and contact, Marcus Potts into the 98 car.
Going into turn number 1, some contact there here on lap number 62. Daniel Medina in that number 98 machine. They get a little contact there as the 2 pushes up the racetrack. That's Marcus Potts' machine in that pit stop for Hope Chevy. He ends up wrecked along with the 98 machine. Going into turn number 1, he just pushes up the racetrack and into the side. Straight looking to see if he collects anybody else. Seems like it's just a 2-car incident there in turn number 1. But what this allows us to do is catch our breath, and this, if the rest of the drivers on the lead lap pit, this is going to put Jason Jacoby back on the lead lap. But if not, he is not the free pass car. Or it looks like he is now, but he may not get it by the time they come to the stripe. But if he does, he may be sitting in a good position with the new tires.
Yeah, and with only I think 17 laps to go here, I really don't know. I think a lot of these guys are gonna want to stay out and not sacrifice that track position at this point in the race. With all the cautions that this race has had, track position might be more valuable than tires.
Cars pitting here on lap number 63. This may allow that number 1 machine to, or this is actually going to dampen the plans of that number 1 machine if he gets the Lucky Dog free pass. We're going to cover the pit stops here. William E. Moore, we're going to follow him into his pit stall. Let's see if they make any mistakes here on the pit stop. Very easy to lock up your brakes and miss your pit stall. Looks like he makes it okay. Looks like the 08 also makes it okay. So it's going to be 4 tires all around for everybody with 15 laps to go, or at least closing in on it. Closing in on 10 laps to go here. Curtis, as these drivers get ready to pull off a pit road. Here they come. Looks like that 11 of William E. Moore is going to win the battle off a pit road. Let's see if anybody stayed out on the racetrack. I wouldn't expect anybody to. We're going to have to wait till they shuffle around to collect the pace car. But Curtis, that was a good little run there, and we saw what these cars in Domino's can do once they get some green flag running.
Yeah, and I was really impressed with the driving of the 11 of William E. Moore. Despite the fact that he got into that car and put him up into the wall, he had an impressive 3-wide move there to get himself up into the lead, and I'm thinking he can stay up there now. He's my pick to win the race.
Looks like Jason Jacoby did get the Lucky Dog free pass, so he's going to move into 17th, or 18th, excuse me, if the 003 and Marcus Potts end up staying on the lead lap. We're going to see he's going to have to move to the end of the longest line. But he's going to have new tires with him, and he's going to have what has been the fastest car all night, at least up front. But let's see if that number 1 machine can work his way up front through a pack of cars in 15 laps. He's going to have to pull off Dale Earnhardt Sr. kind of moves at Talladega a few years ago, making up, 20 positions in 8 laps. It's going to get crazy here with that number 1 machine.
Yeah, and I'm just not sure if he has enough time to get back up to the front. If we have a green flag run, that'll be probably his only hope. if we have another caution or two, then I'm just not sure that he can get the positions on the restarts to get back up here and contend for the win.
Going to re-rack your racing order. William E. Moore in the lead. He took the lead a few laps ago from that number 36 of William Davis. Davis, he's got his fast repair, so he has got that car ready to go. He's used his one and only fast repair, so he's got a brand new race car for that William Davis driver. Michael Atkins Jr., we saw him wrecked a few laps ago. He's running in that number 18 machine in third, so a good recovery from him. Dustin Lee, we talked to him before halfway. He's running in fourth. Jack Watt started 40th on the field and ends up in fifth position so far. Kyle Weatherman in sixth. Michael Fravert in that 7th position. Michael Jeans in eighth. Ryan Hill. Michael Jeans, wow. Looks like he lost a lot of positions on pit road. He must have had a bad exit or something or gotten spun. May have to go take a look at that. But ninth position, Ryan Hill and Eric Hawk in that number 20 machine in 10th. So that's surprising. Michael Jeans ended up close to the back half of the top 10. Lights are out atop the iRacing roof. GT3 pace car. We're going to get the race restarted for hopefully the final time. We finally got a little bit of green flag racing there for a few laps, and we saw what these drivers can do. Remember, if you're interested in joining the Domino's TYJ Racing Series, just remember this is not what you're going to see every week. These drivers are very good. Curtis can attest to that. He raced in the series all year and raced with a lot of good drivers. These guys have never raced with each other, and it's just like an official session. You get some drivers who are good and some drivers who just do not have the speed or the pace or the racemanship to race up front and to race around other cars. But that's what the point of Domino's is, and what a lot of other series do. They teach you, and that's what they did last year. Curtis, I knew you grew as a driver halfway through the year. You ended up collecting a lot of wins, and hopefully we'll have the new Curtis Young here. Maybe the old Curtis Young will come back to show the moves. But we got a new leader on the restart for the first time tonight. William E. Moore is going to take the green flag, but he's going to have that number 36 of William Davis to the outside of him. It's going to be that number 36 on the outside taking the lead. He's going to try and chop that number 11's nose off, but he's going to have him to deal with on the outside of turn number 2. A little bit of contact between the 51 and 18 there. We're going to stay with the leaders. They're side by side into turn number 3. He's going to dive it into turn number 3, trying to get that momentum going. Maybe he's going to lead it at the stripe this time by. We may see a little bit of rough racing, Curtis, between these two drivers because they did have contact.
Yeah, and the 51 of Dustin Lee was right on the 36's bumper on that restart. Looks like he wants to get up there and win as well. But right now it looks like the 36 of William Davis has a run on the outside of the 11 of William E. Moore, and he's going to clear him.
He's going to complete the pass as soon as the caution comes out here on lap number 68. Caution involving a couple of lap down cars. It looks like number 74, Wesley Whitfield, involved. Looks like the number 78 right in front of him, Michael Bortle. He ended up getting loose going into turn number 3, and just came up in front of the 28 and into the 74. So it looks like a 3-car incident here in turn number 3 with a couple of drivers whose nights were basically ruined, but they were trying to race as hard as they could to get the positions that they could, so you can't really blame them. But rookie mistakes from those drivers getting loose into turn number 3, at least the 78 did. This is going to give us another chance here, Curtis. 10 laps to go, and it's going to go down just a little bit more. And I'm just looking. Looks like the number 36 of William Davis. He's actually a hometown driver from Georgia.
Yeah, look, he'll be happy to get the win here if he can hold on to it. He just made that pass right before the caution came out, and I'm not sure William E. Moore wants to give it up so easily, though. So I think we're gonna have a good battle at the end here. Hopefully, we can stay green from this restart.
Remember, these drivers are trying to work their way into the 2017 season for the Domino's TYJ Racing Series. Tonight, it's the Marcus Potts 120, and next week we're going to move on to a different racetrack. Curtis, I haven't looked in the schedule. What's up next for the series?
I honestly couldn't tell you what these 4 races in December were. I think there's a good mix of every kind of size of track. I don't think we're running any short tracks just because it's an open session and anybody can join, and that could be bad. So I think it's mostly a 1.5 miles and plate tracks, but I think it's 1.5 miles from now on. Talladega last week was the only plate track they were running this month.
Well, whatever racetrack it is, I can't wait to see it here on the Domino's TYJ Racing Series and here on the All Pro Broadcasting Network. And remember, this is also going to be your home for the Domino's Series in 2017. So catch every race of what is I believe, a 56 race calendar for the Truck Series, the Cup Series, and everybody, or at least close to it. So a lot of racing coming next year for the drivers, and we're going to see Curtis Young and all of his friends on the track in 2017.
Yeah, and looking back, when that caution happened on the 20 of Eric Hawk got loose through the quad oval at the exact same time and just nosed it into the pit lane wall. So unfortunate end to his night. He was running in the top 10 and was as high as second. So tough break for him. He was running good. I was hoping that he was going to be able to pull off a top 5 or a top 10 tonight.
And looks like I'm getting word from the owner, Robert McFarland, who is usually in the booth for the series here in the tryout races. The next race is going to be at California, one of my favorite racetracks, so I'm going to enjoy seeing you guys tear it up at California Speedway. And also, the tryout races for the trucks start in January, so we're going to be looking for that. Mostly it should be the same format. So if you want to race in the truck series, you may want to keep a lookout on Thursday nights, I believe. It's going to be the same time for the Domino's Truck Series tryout races.
Yeah, the trucks is a Wednesday night series this year, but it does come with a very nice trophy. I won the truck championship last year, and I got a nice plaque from CNC Crafts by Chad Payne there that's hung up on the wall with all the other trophies that I have. So
I wish I had trophies. All I have are participation ribbons. I'll take your silence as you're too busy laughing at my joke to press the talk button. Curtis.
yeah, that was it here. Just trying to look down through the field and see who has a chance to win this thing still. We only got
I really think William
Davis
is. I think William Davis has got this. I think he's got one of the better cars. We may be able to see what William Moore can do, but I think that 36 machine, he's got a very good chance. But we have seen that number 18 there on the inside lane, Michael Atkins Jr., make work his way up through the field.
36 had the outside on the last restart. 11 has the outside. We'll see what happens now. Pace car is off. They're green.
Looks like the 38's going to get a jump. We're going to be 3 wide by the time they get to the start-finish line. Ryan Hill is going to make it 3 wide into turn number 1. A little bit of contact between them. That number 11 of William E. Moore. He's going to take the lead from that 36 momentarily as they come into turn number 2. Down the back straightaway into turn number 3. That number 36 of William Davis, he's going to move into the lead. So Michael Atkins Jr. working his way as the 38 of William
on
Hill,
the grass.
Ryan Hill. He's going to try to make the Dale Earnhardt pass through the grass, but it's not going to work. He's going to slide into the number 4 spot. Oh, we got a big wreck here.
And it looks like that's going to set us up for maybe a 1 or 2 lap shootout.
Caution coming out, and it's going to be the 23 of Mark Fravert and Michael Fravert. Wow. The two brothers getting into contact with each other.
That sounds like a fight.
Like the 23 got a little bit loose there going into turn number 1. He ends up coming down the racetrack on his brother in the 39.
Yeah, and I'm sure that Michael Fravert isn't going to be too happy with his brother on that one, but they'll hug it out.
Well, we're going to have to see. Yeah, it's like this is going to set us up for one more restart, so we don't have to worry about the caution coming out anymore because we are on lap 74. Should take 5 laps to clean up the racetrack. And now maybe 1 or 2 laps to finish this thing, Curtis.
Yeah, and I really think that the 11 car can get a good run on the outside there, and I still think that he's got probably the best shot at winning this race. If he can time the restart right and stay side by side into turn 1 with the 36 of William Davis, then I think he's got this race. But the 38 of Ryan A. Hill was also coming from that restart. He went 3 wide on the outside on that last restart and made a couple passes. He's up to 4th spot. He's on the outside, so... And I know he wants to win this race, so we got a lot of fast drivers up here that still got a chance to win this race.
Curtis, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't Ryan Hill the person who won the Dylan Brockwell Memorial 500 this year?
I'm not sure who won the race, but I think he is a good real-life friend of... was a good real-life friend of Dylan Brockwell.
Yes, he did win the Dylan Brockwell 500, so he knows how to get it done around these Domino's 2YJ racing guys because it was organized by the series. But yeah, he was a good friend of the guy we lost here last year around this time. But he's doing his buddy proud because he's running in that 4th spot and he ended up winning the race in his buddy's honor, the Dylan Brockwell 500. But yeah, I just recognized his name there, so. He's shown he's not just good on the super speedways, but good on the mile and a halfs as well. Lights are still on top of the pace car. Should be 2 to go this time. So lap number 77. We're probably going to get a restart. We should get a restart if everything goes according to plan. Curtis, I know you said you're going to go with William Moore, so I guess I got to go with William Davis. So the battle of the 2 Williams here up front, but Michael Atkins Jr., he could throw his hat into the ring and take that number 18 machine. He started 36. And he's had to have had a decent car to work his way up through the field like that because he was wrecked near the halfway point in the race. I think that 18 machine, he's got a good car.
Yeah, and that would be a great accomplishment for the 18 to start way back there in 36th and win the race. I'm sure he'll be happy with 3rd if that's all he can get, but I think he's definitely a threat to win this race too. He's been fast up there on those last few restarts, and he's on the inside, so you might be able to get a good run off the start and make it 3 wide or something.
Little update, Jason Jacoby in the number 1 machine, he's actually worked his way up into 8th. I believe he started about maybe 15th or 16th on the last restart after taking the Lucky Dog free pass, and right behind him, Marcus Potts, the title sponsor of tonight's race with his racing endeavor for 2017. He's running good. He was actually involved in one of the cautions we had here earlier, so he's done a very good job to recover.
Yeah, and they are lining up 2 by 2 by 2, and it looks like we're going to have a 2-lap shootout to the finish.
So it's going to be as close as we can get to a green-white checker here on the iRacing service. 13 cars on the lead lap. 12 cars in that lead pack. Now the 13th car joins. Michael Jeans is going to come up to the back of the field, and truthfully, any one of them can win it. it's a little bit weird to say here in Atlanta, but with a restart like this, guys in the back half of the top 5, top 10, if a wreck takes somebody out, we could see a surprise winner.
And we'll see if these guys get aggressive here, if they just want to try and make some clean passes. But 38 car is warming his tires up there. He is ready to go on the outside line.
38 going to try and repeat the move he did to get into that position. Worked his way on the outside before the green flag even dropped. Trying to work his way up front. Here they come to the green flag, final restart of the night. He's going to pull the same move to the outside of the number 11, but he's going to get chopped off. He's going to duck down to the bottom end of turn number 1. The 36 of William Davis is going to be in the leader. as they dive into turn number 1, the 11 of William Moore. He's going to lose the momentum on the top side. Here comes Ryan Hill in that number 38 machine. He's bobbing and weaving as long as also the rest of the field is as they come into turn number 3. He's to the inside.
Dives it in
turn
there.
number 3. Here they come off of turn number 4. Contact. They're back in the pack. Make it to the white flag here, boys.
White flag,
in the
we're
air.
going to finish under green.
William
38
Davis,
is coming.
William Davis brings in turn number 1. The 11 dive bombs there, the number 38, but he's not going to be able to get there. One more shot at it as they come down the back straightaway. William Davis started 20th. Carl Recking there, the 13 back in the pack. We're going to stay with the leaders. Here they come. Is the bumper coming? Not going to happen. Not going to be close enough. William Davis started 20th. Is going to bring home the checker in the Marcus Potts Racing 120.
Close battle for second and third there. Ryan A. Hill takes second, and William E. Moore coming home in third.
Great finish all around. It started off slow, but it ended up with some good action here for an 80-lap race here at Atlanta. These guys doing a good job. William Davis ends up bringing home the victory. Ryan Hill, as you said, behind him, and William Moore is going to complete your podium finishers. Whew, Curtis, I'm out of breath. That was a good finish.
That was a good finish. That was a long race with more cautions than we're used to seeing here at Domino's TYJ Racing, but the finish was as exciting as what we normally have.
Well, as William Davis pulls on the pit road, maybe he's going to do a few burnouts for us. Here he comes onto the front straightaway on the Legends course. He's going to
Drift in the Legends course. Yeah, baby. Into the
he's
wall,
going to nose him into the
36.
fence.
William Davis burning it down.
All right,
Congrats
we're going
to
to
him.
move.
Good win there.
Yeah, congratulations goes out to all these guys, especially in the top 5. They put on a good race. Well, as that 36 burns it down, we're going to get him and a few more of your finishers if we can get a hold of them before the broadcast ends here tonight. This has been the Marcus Potts Racing 120 here at Atlanta. We'll be right back on All Pro Broadcasting Network.
Never look behind through all that I have seen. 'Cause all I need is white lines of gasoline. White lines of gasoline.
Running through your top 10 here. The 36 of William Davis coming home with the win. 38 of Ryan A. Hill coming home in second. The 11 of William E. Moore comes in third. 18 of Michael Atkins Jr. coming in fourth, all the way from P36 on the field. Number 51 of Dustin Lee rounding out the top 5. Sixth place going to 31 of Kyle Weatherman. 77 going to Jack Watts. The number 2 of Marcus Potts, who sponsored this race, coming home in 8th. 003 of Kyle Charpentier coming in 9th. And Jason Jacoby manages to get all the way back up to 10th from having to go to the tail end of the lead lap cars there.
Just outside the top 10, Paul Madison in the 15 is going to come home in 11th. Michael Jeans in the number 08 machine, we saw him lead there just a few laps there earlier, is going to finish in the 12th position. First, last car on the lead lap. One lap down is Derek Fisher. We saw him wreck on the back straightaway on the last lap. He's going to finish in 13th. 14th is going to go to Mark Favorite. Michael Favorite right behind him. Justin Anderson, Dennis Sather, Joe Owen, Wesley Whitfield, and Eric Hawk round out your top 20.
And in 21st, we have the 98 of Daniel Medina. 22nd is the 59 of David White. 23rd is the 006 of Verlis Falcons. 24th is 55 of Justin Gabehart. 25th is 56 of Josh Bonwell. Tough break for him. He's been running good the last couple weeks in these races. 26th goes to Michael Bortle. 27th, Gary Weston. 28th, Ellery Queen. And 29th, Vernon Markham. Rounding out the top 30 is the 101 of David Gainforth.
31st is going to be Philip Meyer. 32nd, Judd Danielson. William Roberts Jr., Richard Dix, Caleb Eisenhower, Ryan McGorrick, J.R. Smith. It's going to be your 36th and final car to take green here tonight in that number 33 machine. He's going to end up last car on the field. Well, unfortunately, we do not have your winner. Looks like he is already headed off to celebrate his win, but we've caught up with a few drivers, including the driver who finished second. It's going to be that number 38 of Ryan Hill. Ryan Hill, we caught up with you. You made some daring moves there on the outside of the racetrack to get into second. We almost thought you were going to put the bumper to William Davis there. How did the car feel after finally getting some time on the tires to actually fill it out? You come home with second. How did the car feel all night?
I would just like to point out my pit crew put new tires on every lap, every pit stop we were under caution, so that was the first time my car had probably more than 2 laps on its tires the entire race, and it was pretty fun. This is one of those leagues I don't really want to put bumpers to people. I really want to race clean with people. If I got to him, I was going to try and make a move, but it really wasn't feasible. We were both overdriving the car really well, really good, because just the way the weather is here. And it was fun, riding in the back all day long, watching all the wrecks unfold, and just being here in the last, 10 laps. It was just a lot of fun.
Now, we saw you make those daring moves on the restarts. How many times did you pull that off? Because we saw it was kind of your patented move there late in the race.
Enough to win a few races that some people might still question to this day. Most recent, one of them was an NIS race back in 2013 for Racing for Pro. I went from 6th to 1st and won the race. That wasn't, people didn't really like that. But, Dave was trying to say I was laying back. I didn't think I was laying back. I was on his bumper, and I started going, and the green flag came out. And my theory is, when I grow up race on dirt, green flag comes out, you go. It doesn't matter where you're at. So, green flag's out, you go. That's just the way my mentality has been.
Well, according to the rules, you did nothing wrong if iRacing did not give you a black flag. At least that's how they judged it last week at Talladega with the restart that ended up winning the driver of the race. But you did come home second. Do you think if you had one more lap, if we had run 81 laps here tonight, do you think you could have got the win?
I don't know. I think if we actually went green flag racing 90% of the way, I probably would have been up there. We had one green flag run where I was starting to move up. I'm like, okay, we got to start moving up, and lap car ruined it. One more lap, I probably would have came in third instead of second, but it is what it is. I can't ask for another lap. Came in second. That's good enough for me. It's not the real. When league comes racing, top 3 is where I want to be.
All right, Ryan, one more question. You got any sponsors you want to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, I would like to thank, obviously, I have Phantom Armament on my car today. Hilco, Elfman Tactical, Frog Loop. I have a couple friends watching. Daniel, I know Colin's probably watching. Everybody at DBR, MD Designs. If you want to get your helmet painted, go to him. Don Roberts, Josh Ayer. Josh's dad is really bad off, and he just came out of cancer treatment, and he's doing a lot better. So our wishes go out to him, and of course, Dylan Brockwell. Of course, we're still racing for him ever since we lost him back in the day. I do appreciate the shout out back to the Daytona race, by the way. That was really nice of you guys to do that. And obviously Chevrolet and all the guys back at the shop building some really good motors, some really good cars for the upcoming season. And I'd like to thank Robert, yourself, and Curtis for coming up here. And it was really fun tonight, and I can't wait for next week at California and when the actual season starts.
All right, Ryan, congratulations on your second place finish. We're going to talk to the driver who finished just a little bit behind you, the number 18 of Michael Atkins Jr. Down here on pit road with the 18 machine, he comes home in 4th. We saw you start 36th, get wrecked about halfway, and end up working your way into the top 5. Michael, congratulations. It Had to be one heck of a night.
Yeah, it was a pretty good night. I was just trying to be consistent and more or less everything else, considering where everything went last week, Talladega, but just more or less getting consistency under my belt for the Cup Series and Truck Series coming up with Domino's TYJ Racing, and gain momentum, move forward from there.
Now, we saw a lot of wrecks early in the race, especially before halfway. I don't believe we went more than one green flag lap. And we know this doesn't happen usually in the Domino's series a lot. What do you think was the real factor? Was it the weather or drivers just being over aggressive?
I would go with drivers just being over aggressive. It's when you come to Atlanta, it's just the nature of the beast with Atlanta. It's all about keeping momentum up with the cars and everything else and the way it goes. But, starting in the back, that was my game plan with my teammate Paul Madison. We just decided just to not qualify, start in the back and let the wrecks play out and, work our way up toward the end.
All right, Michael, you bring it home in fourth. Any sponsors you want to thank before we let you go?
I thank Lowe's for being my sponsor even throughout the season, coming up here with the Cup Series. So shout out to them and shout out to teammate Paul Madison.
All right, this is the number 18 machine of Michael Atkins Jr. We got one more driver to interview. We talked to him early in the race. It's that number 51 of Dustin Lee. Dustin, congratulations. You bring it home top 5. You're one of the biggest movers in the race we saw. You were consistently up front. You started 14th. We saw you slide back and then go back up front. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, we got to ask, when we talked to you, it was caution after caution. How did your car feel once we got some green flag running in?
Honestly, I kind of liked it. I wasn't really fast on the new tires, but once got about 10 laps on the tires, the car felt a lot better, and I felt like it was just as fast as anybody else on the track.
When we were looking at the weather earlier in the race, it was a track temperature of 74 degrees. Did that kind of catch you off guard when you came in here for practice?
Not really. We had a practice session earlier, and the setup was a little bit different, but still about the same. Car was real pushy on the exit, and then wanted to snap loose. But all in all, it wasn't too bad.
All right, Dustin, you brought that number 51 home in the top 5 position. Hey, do you think that the cold weather? I know you said it wasn't really a surprise to you, but do you think the track temperature at 74 degrees was kind of a factor in the wrecks that we saw? Or we asked Michael Atkins Jr. the same thing. Was it drivers being over aggressive?
Honestly, I think it was just really just kind of people just being aggressive. I guess on new tires, everybody's just trying to get as much as they can before the car gets really tight. Because once the car gets tight, obviously, it's very, very hard to pass on the bottom. And I think pretty much that was what was happening. I can't blame them. I was trying to do the same thing, but I tried to stick to the top line most of the time to kind of save my tires, and then kind of move down to the bottom after about 10, 15 laps.
All right, Dustin, you brought it home top 5. Any sponsors you want to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, let's thank teammates Southeast Motorsports here. Congratulations to Jack. He brought it home 7th, and I know Jeans and Wesley, they had good runs also, but just kind of got caught up in all that mess back there in the back. Thanks for putting on the series, and also Off-Road Broadcasting for broadcasting the event. I couldn't do it without all you guys helping us out.
Well, thank you, Dustin. That's Dustin Lee, driver of the number 51, brings it home in the top 5 position. And Curtis, I want to say one thing before we close out the broadcast tonight. We actually had a winner win the free pizza. If you're still watching the race, Lee Butler from Concord, North Carolina, correctly picked William Davis to win the race tonight. So he will win a free pizza courtesy for Domino's. It's 3 for 3 for drivers getting picked to win. Fans actually picking the driver before halfway have picked the winner before the finish of the race and winning a free pizza courtesy of Domino's. Curtis, I got to ask you, before we close out the broadcast tonight, any final thoughts?
That was a decent finish to a caution-filled race, which we normally don't see that too often here in Domino's, but it was an open session, which anybody could join. I think we got a couple talented drivers that were in here tonight, and hopefully they make a run to try and join Domino's TYJ Racing.
Well, on behalf of Domino's TYJ and the All Pro Broadcasting Network, I'm Gabriel Wood. This is Curtis Young, Michael D'Amico in the broadcast booth, getting the buttons and getting the picture you see to you tonight. This has been the Marcus Potts Racing 120 from Atlanta. Good night, and we'll see you next week in California.